and welcome to Tuesday's tutorial. I'm Jane from Loopy's place, and you'll find me either here in my sewing room at home or in my studio where I have classes as well. The tutorials that I'm sharing with you on a Tuesday are based on the classes that I have in the community. So these are full tutorials, explain every step through the process. If you wish to, adjust the speed on YouTube and you can whiz through quicker. I hope you enjoy it. Without any further ado, here's today's tutorial. So this week I'm going to show you a technique that I've seen on social media. As soon as I saw it, I did think of some of my learners that like the look of patchwork but feel overwhelmed about the thought of matching up all those seams. So we're going to be creating a little sample square like this. In fact, you could go from this and create other things. So talk about some of the ways it can be developed afterwards. Starting with a piece of interfacing, you need lightweight. I'm using a 12.5 inch square to start mine off, and for my pieces I'm just using out of my scrap bag some 2.5 inch squares. So it's a great way of using up some of those scraps. I'm going to show you how to do it, then I'll discuss some of the things to keep in mind going forward, and maybe some of the ideas that I have going forward to see how we can use that going forward. So I've already started. As you can see here, I've got my 4 rows done. I'm using a different square of each fabric, so there's no repeats. So because these have been in the bag, sometimes they're not very flat, so I'm just going to flatten them. And as you can see, I'm just laying them straight next to each other. There's been no planning with this either, so just make sure they're all flat. Just a couple more to go on. It needs a press. So because it's matching the size of my interface, I'm not going to have to worry about getting it stuck to my iron. If your piece is slightly bigger, you can use an applique sheet over the top, just awesome. Baking parchment, so I'm just making sure they're all flat, and now I've got to adhere it to the interfacing. So each interfacing will come with its instructions, so just follow the instructions for yours. You will see I'm not ironing over the top because that's going to move it, just moving it along, just putting pressure on it enough just to make sure they're all in place. And the thing to remember is before you move it, just check that everything has been stuck down. It's quite easy to miss pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to check that they're all in place. It looked as if they're all going to stay in place when I'm finished. I'm just going to give it a quick once over just on those seams just to make sure. And then I'm going to take it to the sewing machine. Okay, so now I'm going to fold these over this way. You're going to do all your seams one way. Obviously it's all going to be the same first. So again, you can use your 1/4 inch seam allowance. So that's one done. So I'm going to fold over the next one, and you're just folding down the line in between the pieces of fabric. So I'm going to continue doing these until I've done them all going this way. There we are. So they're all cut. They're all stitched. There you go. That's what it looks like on the front. And now we need to separate these. So using some needlework scissors, nice point, you can just slide it inside, and you're going to, let's go back inside. There we go. We're just going to cut all the way along that edge. There we are. One done, and do the others. There we are. Now that's done. You need to press those seams open so that they're going to all be flat. Come back when I've done that. So there we are. We've got those pressed flat now, and that's the front. So this time we're now going to fold them over this way, and we're going to do the seams this side. So again, use your 1/4 inch seam allowance. And you're going to go all the way down. There we go. And you're going to repeat that until you've done all your seams. There we go. So they're all sewn together, and we're going to cut these as we did before. There we go. That's one done. I'm going to do all the others. There we are, that's all cut, and now again we're going to press those seams open. And there you have it, and that's the reverse side. So for a traditional patchworker, that's going to seem very unusual. However, you need to do it that way because the interfacing does add extra bulk, and that just evens it all out. So just share some of the tips from last up. When you're cutting your interfacing, make sure you're allowing for the seam allowances. So you're going to, if you know what size squares you're using and the layout, you're going to cut your interface into the actual sizes of the squares. If you're planning to do it for projects, you need to remember that your piece is going to be less than the seam allowance. So I started at 12.5 inches for these, and now they're 10.5 inches. And it comes to cutting the back. I thought I'd be clever on this one and use my ruler and rotary cutter. However, because it's left a narrower seam allowance, it makes it more difficult to press open. So just do it with the scissors. It's not difficult, it just goes straight out through the channel. So, ideas of how you can use these. So here I've got 2 different panels here. You could do a number of these and join them together if you wanted to. It's not going to be too difficult to match these up. Just remember that when you're pressing the seams open, you're not nesting one way or the other. So just make sure that they're lined up as you do it. As I said, you could use it for quilt as you go. So if you want to make your blocks up, whatever size that you want to, layer it up, quilt it, and then join as quilt as you go. That's one idea that you can use. And you know you're going to have all perfect points on it. I've got some projects coming up that I thought might use this technique for to get the patchwork for some of my learners. I think if you've got particular shaped, I'm thinking of water bottle, hot water bottle covers. You need to make sure you allow for the seam allowances and the seam allowances as you're going to sew it together. So when I get to that project, I'll share that with you. I'm also thinking in my mind of being sort of experimenting with different shapes to see how that works. Once I've done that, I'll come back and share that with you. If you've had a go and try these things, please let me know. I'd love to hear how you've, what you've done and how you've worked it out. Look forward to hearing your ideas on that. I do hope you enjoyed that. If you need any help with making adjustments to suit yourself, please get in touch. I'd be happy to help. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel, hit the bell below, and you'll get notifications when new content is added. Look forward to speaking to you again very soon, but in the meantime, do take care. Bye for now.